Okay, I am live. Of course, no one's watching yet, unless someone's watching a recording of this, in which case, hello, person watching a recording. Um, so I have two Compaq portables, and I thought I just wanted one, but the problem is I bought two Compaq portables that have a full set of parts that theoretically could be fixed up, and I just couldn't leave things that way. So at the moment, I have this Compaq portable sitting next to me was fully working up until yesterday because it was a Frankenstein machine. I bought a Compaq portable pretty cheaply about a year ago or so at a antique radio swap meet up in New Hampshire, which when you find vintage computers at antique radio swap meets, that's a great place to get a good deal because generally the only reason a person brought it there is because they want to make it disappear someplace where there might be people interested in throwing money at it. And I think I paid like $25. And when I got home, the only thing that would turn on it was the fan, and I didn't know anything about fixing them up. So that kind of left me stuck. So then I went looking online in the wonderful world of eBay, and I found one that was booting up, that was powering on to a screen. Because what I learned from the first one is that if you flip the power switch and the fan spins, the only thing that tells you is that the fan works. A lot of people flip a switch, hear a fan going, and are like, ooh, machinery's turning on. Something's working in there. Yeah, the fan. The fan is directly connected to the AC input. So, really, the only thing that tells you is the fan works. That's the only thing it tells you. Um, you know what? I should make sure I'm not talking to a muted microphone. So, let me see. Let me make sure that I have sound. I'm going to test my phone. I'm going to see if I can join my phone for a second cam, or a third cam actually, because I have multiple cams. Um, so that's cool because I got a cam up here as we dive into things. Because yeah, I'm basically gonna. I'm not expecting to get this machine fully up and running right now. We'll dive into that. Let's make sure this is working. Oh, I got to log into. Okay. And then I want a 6-digit code. All right, so let's set my. I want to mute myself there because I don't want two microphones. I'll mute that. There we go. Now let's see if I hear myself. Well, it's loading. You know, I always leave my phone muted, and then my phone decides to unmute the moment I join. I I can't make my phone completely mute in here, so yeah, we're going to we're good. We're going to turn that off for now. All right, so let's see where we are. Oh, great. We're still there. Okay. I was going to have a roving mic, but the problem is the roving mic will not mute. So I'm speech jammering myself right now. So let me, even when I put the phone to sleep. So sorry about that, Dune. Anyways, as I was saying, like a year ago, I buy a Compaq portable, that had a built-in hard drive. Although I don't believe the actual Compaq portable ever came stock with a hard drive. I believe it was only the Compaq Plus, but I'm not 100% on that. But I believe the hard drive was added later. So bought that, turn it on. Only thing that turns on is a fan. Didn't know enough to figure that out. So then I bought this one off of eBay, which the eBay seller showed that the screen comes up to a blinking cursor. And I Frankenstein my two machines into one working machine. And so by the time I was done with this had the motherboard and video card of the first machine, and all the rest of the parts were the part, and the hard drive and the memory clock card that were in the first machine in this machine. So it was a Frankenstein machine with the IBM 10 meg hard drive added in, and that was cool, and it was all operational, and that was great. But meanwhile, the other machine has been sitting around in a box. Yeah. There we go. So there's the keyboard. I think this keyboard actually goes to the machine that's on the desk, because I think I foamed one keyboard, and then I was going to use the chassis of the first one, but I couldn't. The chassis of the second one had the working screen, and the screens wouldn't move back and forth. But anyways, these parts and that case pieces and chassis over there are basically another Compaq portable that I'm going to try to piece together as much as I can tonight. So at some point, the one I had working, I had to put the motherboard and video card from the first one into the second one to make them work. And then I'm like, well, I want to fix up those that motherboard and that video card. And the thing that was sorry, doing you distracted. Can't wait to see what you come up with there. But shh, I won't tell. You forgot to put it in parentheses though, so that no one will see it. Yeah. Anyways. So there were 3 people before me that have done videos about fixing up Compaq portables. And the first one was done by the 8-bit guy. And I think anyone that saw that remembers the moment where he jerry-rigged some kind of alternate power supply by putting 2 Molex connectors next to one another with paper clips jumping the connections, which resulted in him blowing out a capacitor on the video card, I think. May have been on the motherboard. But he got a donor board, video card, or board from someone else, and basically Frankenstein together a Compaq portable from, parts that came from various machines, which was cool. And then, of course, the other one, which was even more epic, was the N Commander video I'm showing was 10 months ago, where basically he bought a adapter board that would adapt a modern power supply to connect to a vintage thing, and when he did that, something blew on either the video card or the motherboard, and I forget how he resolved that at the end of there, or if he did, but that was an epic moment. Quite a big spark that came out. And then third was what's that guy's name? The guy with the voice, that the Michael MJD. He does a lot of obscure Windows installations and things like that. But he did a part 1. He hasn't done a part 2 yet, though, where basically he was going to do the same thing that N Commander did. And it's too bad that we have been deprived of a third explosion. But what happened was Michael MJD got in touch with N Commander, who explained why what he did resulted in what happened to him, which is that the power supply board on these machines use like a crowbar method, so that if there's a short detected, it immediately shuts down. And so that's and oh, cool, Tecmo did an SACD vid. I might watch it tomorrow morning, or I might go, that's boring, I already know everything. But anyways, so crowbar type power supply shuts down immediately when it detects something, whereas the modern ones don't, which is a great way to find the bad capacitor. is to use a power supply that doesn't protect the equipment and just poof, there it is. There's my problem. You know, road flare makes things easy to find, right? So does an exploding capacitor. But anyway, so I pretty much knew that, you know, the motherboard that is in here now, which I put the original back in here, it was shorting out whenever I tried to turn it on without anything connected. So I knew that there was a problem with that motherboard. So I bought a bunch of capacitors to start changing them out. And then I connected the power supply to it and turned it on, and it stayed on again. So I don't know why the motherboard that was in here started giving me problems, but I've switched it back in here for now. And the other thing is I made a mistake. I put 2 working floppy drives in here. And I know what you're thinking. How is that a mistake? Well, the reason that's a mistake is because when I bought this off of eBay, the A drive was a drive that wasn't booting up. And through testing things, I've determined that this floppy drive doesn't work. So that means this floppy drive was originally the A drive in this machine. So if I put this machine if I put this floppy drive into the first machine that I'm going to try to rebuild tonight, I'm not going to be able to do anything floppy related. So this needs to be fixed up at some point. I'm not prepared to do that right now. So what I'm going to do for now is, for safekeeping, I'm going to put this in to the second bay on here. And I believe that drive, I got a 50-50 chance that drive is the drive that was originally in the first machine. And I'm not going to connect the cable to this. So that way all bays will be filled in here and it visually is fine. But it will treat the A drive as a single drive machine and let me swap that between A and B. So this will still be somewhat operational until I take this out of here and fix this up or swap it. I don't know. I was hoping to buy a third one. Someone has a parts machine on eBay that someone just cut the keyboard right off of. And that has a hard drive and a floppy drive in there. I'm not willing to pay more than $100 for a pile of who knows what's working in a pile of parts with a missing keyboard. That thing cannot be rebuilt unless you find another keyboard that is, and it's a very specific keyboard, obviously. But that guy countered with 130, and I'm like, yeah, fuck you. We'll see if he comes back and says, all right, I'll take the 100. That's what I'm kind of hoping he does. He's local, so once we close the deal, I could drive there, pick it up, and not have to pay like $100 for shipping. But that's whatever. So the first thing I want to do is take the floppy drive out of here, because that's going to be used for what we're going to try to piece together. At some point, I got to fix the video card in here, because since I put the video card that was in here started shorting things out and causing it to not turn on. So I swapped it out for the video card that was in the first machine. But since I'm going to rebuild the first machine, I wanted that video card back. I found the problematic capacitor in the video card in here, and I swapped it out with what I thought would be an adequate capacitor for it. And now, instead of the video card shorting out the machine, causing it to not boot up, the video card just sits there and does nothing while the machine boots up. So it's not tripping the power supply, but it's not outputting video. It's not outputting video to the built-in screen, and it's not outputting from the composite out. I haven't tested the CGA or the RGB output of it, but I think it's a safe bet that that's not working as well. But I think I put the wrong value capacitor in there. So I ordered some more capacitors, and I'm going to try to swap that capacitor again and see if we can get that video card working again here. But for now, it's sitting in here in the slot. So yeah, this one's going to have a bad floppy drive and a bad video card in it. I'm hoping I can fix up the video card, and then this will be a good floppy only machine with one working floppy, second working floppy to be dealt with at another time. And then we can turn our sights on the other machine. Now, the other machine, what was wrong with the other machine? I don't know. At this point, I know that motherboard and that video card are good, because both that motherboard and video card were good in here and powering things up. And yesterday I tested it on the bench here with the floppy controller. So at this point, all the parts that were in the first machine are all functional, and I didn't do anything to really fix them. So I don't know why that first machine wasn't powering on when I first brought it home. I do know at some point when I had it powering on, the video display had a vertical hold problem, and that just kept flipping. But there's an adjustment for that on the board for that, and I'm hoping I just need to tweak that adjustment a little bit and get it to hold. But we might find out tonight if we get far enough. We'll find out. But the most important thing is we need our tunes. So that's where I was hoping that we could get a little help from the phone. And I think I have an idea how we're going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute over here. All right, so I'm back in on my phone at the moment so that we can deal with getting some tunage going. Now, Sir Mars asks, are you going to look for those parts at the classic computer show you're going to? Well, I decided not to go to that for 3 reasons. One, I already have a lot of classic computer parts. That wasn't the real reason, though, because I never have enough, of course. Reason number 2, I called my dad on Wednesday Tuesday or Wednesday. I gave my dad a call to say, hey, all right, if I crash there on Friday night. And it's that time of the year where usually a call my dad goes to the effect of, I'm with a client right now. Can I call you back? Yeah, no rush. Bye, click. And then I wait. And he called me back last night. So I wasn't going to nag him about that, especially when I have enough computer parts. And then also, winter storm came through on Friday. So that seemed to me a bad day to be getting on the highway and driving down to Jersey. Really, it wasn't that bad. All right. So let's go see what we got for tunes. So, hey, Dune, feel free to shout out any tapes that look good to you. Let's see. Over here's our disco box. We got a lot of TK disco. We got the Rice and Bean Orchestra. We got Quartz. We got Gwen McCrae. We got George McCrae. We got the Seeley B album that doesn't have Superman on it. Greg Diamond, Gypsy Lane. We got some Christopher Cross. No, I don't think so. Raspberries, Temptations, Blondie. It isn't all disco, of course. Oh, we got some Fatback. I think that one had some speed issues last time I threw it in, though. These aren't all fixed up, I don't think. Let's see. This Earth, Wind, and Fire might need a splice. Oh, that's crunchy. That needs a foam. I don't think we'll put in any Neil Sedaka. We got Deep Purple, we got Led Zeppelin, we got Nas, we got Deep Purple, we got Deep Purple, we got Deep Purple, we got Deep Purple. The problem is I don't remember which of my Purple Passages tapes is the one with the duct tape splice in it. We got Cream, we got Dennis Coffey, we got Steppenwolf, we got KC. We got Tavers, we got Stevie Wonder, we got Steppenwolf. Oh, is this the one that was recorded over with some banjo picking music? I forget. Five Hit Doom goes George McCrae. Yeah, George McCrae. Yeah, George McCrae. You want some George McCrae? We got Smokey Robinson. We got the Jaggers. Of course, we got tapes over here, too. Let's see. We got AC/DC, Three Dog Night, The Best of Buddha, Doors, Robert Palmer, Tom Petty, Tom Jones. We got all our Toms covered here. Neil Young, Arlo Guthrie. Let's see. We got some John Lennon, Ted Nugent, Lou Reed, Todd Rundgren, Queen, Sergio Mendes in Brazil, 66. Curtis Mayfield. M. We just got M. Sir Mars says, don't you have a key? Just show up a pizza.
Yeah, I decided not to do that. We got Beatles, we got Blind Faith, we got Blues Image, we got Blues Project, we got the Sealy B album with Superman on it. We got more Steppenwolf, Buffalo Springfield, Brothers Johnson, James Brown, Cactus. I mean, we got a lot. We got a lot to choose from. We got a bunch of K-Tel up here and a bunch of Motown up here. So, anyways, yeah. I mean, it'll all be in the background and probably just loud enough to get me in trouble, but not loud enough to enjoy. So, I guess it really doesn't matter what I put in. All right, let's see. What would be? I'm going to grab the CDB out of here, which I guess sets the tone for a disco theme. All right, so let's get the caddy out. All right. There we go, Sealy B. I don't know if I'll put that first or second. I was listening to Timmy Thomas while making dinner, and I think I only got through the first program of that, so we could start in the second program of that, put that in the top slot. Whoops. All right. Well, if we're going to go with disco, it probably wouldn't make sense to switch away from that. So maybe we could put the George McRae in there on the third slot. There we go. And
when you're talking about getting in trouble, you're talking about Twitch, right? Not me.
Right.
Okay.
Of course.
I'm just making sure. Like,
Yeah, no. I like when I work on stuff at the desk with music on in the background, usually the next day there are segments muted.
yeah, okay, no, that makes sense.
And it's like, seriously, no one's listening to music that way.
I'm just making sure.
Okay.
You don't think I'm gonna get angry.
All right.
That'd be silly.
That'd be silly. That would be silly. But no, Dune Ready and haha. So he's got no requests. Well, that's okay because he probably can't hear them, and he's got to go do his show like.
Oh yeah, like an hour.
Actually, I think like 2. So
okay.
So he's got enough time for a few of these tapes to come through.
Yeah.
All right, let's let's put on the Michael Zager band in this 5th slot in case we get that far. That's always a fun tape. There we go. We got a caddy full of disco right there. And I'm wearing no socks. But I'll be wearing them tomorrow. All right. I like to turn this on before putting the caddy in, because if I put the caddy in and then turn it on, and then I find out the caddy didn't click all the way through, the motor tries to grind its way through the partially inserted tapes. All right, there we go. All right, and we want to start cartridge 1 on program 2. So we'll do that because it will go on to 3/4, and when it goes from 4 to 1, no matter where it started, it advances the tape. So if you want to start the first tape part way in, you could totally do that. Why is my Sealy B tape not showing a splice? That worries me. It might not be queued at the beginning. Oh, well, we'll find out. All right. I think that's all the way in. So now we hit our cartridge. But, oh, we got to put the EQ in the normal mode instead of tape mode. That's how I hook up 2 8-track decks to the same input. We got to turn on our amplifier. There we go. We got to set it to CD input because that's where I hooked up the 8-track deck. We got to set it to all zone stereo because my speakers over there are on zone 3. All right, zone 3 comes into that amplifier there. Oh, that's the wrong knob. Okay, so I think we should get tunage. Well, that's loud. Oops, that was the wrong knob. There we go. We got tunage.
All right, we're back over here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get that working floppy drive out of here. That's what we're going to do. And put this in there without the cable connected so that we can fix this at a later date. So we got to take both plastic parts off of that. Now this can be done without a tool. It's a pain in the ass, and it can sometimes be a pain on the fingertips. But I want to kind of get a good, like that, to push it up as much as you can, get as much gap down here. And you get basically separating the top. And you kind of push down an upward moment, slide your fingertips under. You got that side, then get the other side. And then it comes free and lifts right up. And we're going to be leaving the plastic panels off of this because this is also our reference to if we need to refer back to how something's put together as we put things in the chassis of the second one. All right, we got to do the same on the other side of this. All right, that's good. There we go. All right, so there's 4 screws holding that floppy in. Let's see if I can all right, this is not going to plan. All right, tell you what, we'll do that. All right. So we said we're going to remove the further drive because that's our B drive. So we just need to take those screws out the bottom, and then we should get it to come out the top. Go. All right, so we got to take this panel off, which requires taking this panel off. And of course, I have one of these handy-dandy multi-tools that you can buy for like $20 off of Amazon. And comes with a bunch of tips that will spill out, and then you have to resort multiple times. Okay, good. Just making sure I wasn't actually muted. All right, so the cool thing about the design on this is that it's set up so that most of these screws just need to be loosened, and the panels slide out without removing all the screws. So we're just going to loosen these screws. And there, that lifts right out. Now this panel, we just got to loosen these two screws. And that one there. And then these two on the side here. And we got to take both screws out that are holding these floppy drives in. And now that slides up. All right, what's holding that up? I'm getting some resistance somewhere. There it goes. It's just a little tight. All right, so now there's only one more screw holding this floppy in. So we're going to take that screw out. And we got the floppy cable and a power cable connected to that. Of course, the other problem is our cards are really blocking this from sliding out. So we're going to have to take those cards out too. So you really have to take a lot apart on this to get that drive out. All right, so that's the cards that come built in have special screws that hold them in there, even though these slots also have screw holes up there like a normal slot card has. But as you can see, the cards, Compaq Portable came with two cards, a floppy controller and a video card. And like I said, this video card is dead. It's just here for safekeeping until my next order of capacitors comes in. That hopefully will bring that back to life. All right, so we're going to take this video card out. And that's got a connector that connects it to the screen. That's why you can't just throw any video card in here. It's got to be one of these video cards. It's got this connector. Both of these Compaq Portables have different models of this card, so it has changed over time. And we're going to take this cable off, pull out the floppy controller. There we go. Now, take the power cord off the floppy drive here. Move that out of the way. And we should be able to push that floppy drive back. And it's kind of happy where it is right now. I'm not sure what it's hung up on. There's no screws on it anymore, but where the screws screw in is rubber that kind of wedges it in place. So it probably just needs a little nudging, although it's really resisting. All right, I'm going to stand this up and try to work it from both sides. God, this camera just loves to go no place good. All right, so this is one of the rubber connectors, and there's another one down here. And I think that's where it's getting stuck. There it goes. All right. All right, now it's out. So this floppy drive works good. Because I had this powered on last night with the other video card. And it was working fine, booting the floppies, reading floppies from both drives. Mars wants to know if Dune's taking notes for his portable. And yeah. All right. So this here is the floppy drive that needs work for another date. So now we're going to try to slide this in. All right. Yeah, it's this rubber piece here. It's got this knob that comes up above the front of the drive. So it's a real tight squeeze to get a drive past there. I'm not sure why they designed this to have not enough clearance for the drive to come in, but they did. Okay, so we gotta get that in there. Then we gotta get it to sit up on top of that. And now we got to line up our holes. All right. That one's lined up so I can get one screw in. Come on. All right. All right. That floppy's got a screw in place. Now let's get the back screws in. Grab a screw. And see if we can line up our holes here. All right, that one went in. Leave that a little loose for now. Just to give it a little wiggle room in case we need to wiggle to get the bottom screw in. All right. All right, so now I think now we can put this plate back on. And I think we're going to loosen these screws some because that was a little too tight when we got it off. So we'll make that a little easier to get back on. All right, there we go. Yep, that slid right in. Easy peasy. So now we'll just tighten those up. All right. And we put these two screws back into our floppies here.
There we go. Now we got our broken floppy hiding as a unconnected second drive in this one. And that's a problem for future Johnny. All right, now let's put our floppy controller back in. All right, and our broken video card put back in here for now. And we got to connect that back up. We don't really have to connect this back up because this isn't working. All right, we're going to leave those cables disconnected for now because why connect the video card to the monitor when the video card is without putting any video to the monitor? We're just going to have to take that out later. But we're going to put our screws in so that we don't lose our screws. All right. And we've screwed our floppy controller and video card in place. And I'll go ahead and put this panel back on. This will just slide right into place with the screws we loosened. And we'll go ahead and tighten those. Except for this one nut here, because there's this one nut that's different from all the other screws that you have to use a pair of pliers or a socket or a wrench to loosen. And so I'm going to wait until I'm done working on this machine to tighten that again. All right. So we're done with this machine for now, except that we might take the keyboard out of it because this keyboard goes to the first machine. And this keyboard is refoamed. And my keyboard that goes to this machine originally is not refoamed yet. I've ordered my foam for the refoam. And so that's on its way here. But we are going to move these to original places, and I'm hoping to get the other one that's completely in parts next to me powering on and booting up by the end of this session. So we're going to take this off the table for now. And the first thing I got to do is I believe I have to get the video stuff put back into my chassis and the power cord for the power supply run back to its correct places. There we go, empty chassis. Let's see what we got here. So here's the power supply board and the power supply cables, and they all ran the pretty specific places. And I think that's going to be one of our tricky parts, is figuring out how this power supply board goes, I believe, in this compartment here. Ah, yes. This screw down here, this screw at the bottom corner here screws in here.
And they made a special tool to do that, which we don't have, but since everything's disassembled, we have easy access to put this back in. The question is, are we really sure we're ready to put this back in? I think we are. But I got to figure out how to run all these things. And I also got to find all my correct screws and put everything back into the right place. All right, I'm going to slide this into its places. All right, that's in. And then this screw would get tightened when we're ready to tighten it, which I'm hoping we are. I'm going to start it. Let's see if I can get a thread started on that. I'll probably have to get my socket wrench out to get that in properly. Oh wait, no, I'm moving it by hand. We'll just hand tighten that for now. There's no reason we really need to clamp that down. It's not going anywhere. All right, that is thumb tight. Well, we can go a little more. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now, let's see. This ground connection goes between these two nuts, if I recall correctly. So we'll go ahead and put that back on there. Motherfucker. All right. All right, so that grounds the case. And somewhere I have two screws that will screw that back into place. Well, here's our monitor. It's been decharged, so it is safe right now. And here's a baggie of screws. And the brightness knob. But they're all tiny screws. I don't think they're... Huh. Did this power supply have tiny screws holding it in? Well, everything else around here is kind of tiny. So I guess so, because those are the only spare screws I have in this bag. I'm surprised I didn't put them back. Well, what did that come off of? Oh, I think I know where that came off of. I think I saw that hole earlier. All right. So I think two of these screws, probably I was going to say the ones with washers, but none of them have washers. All right. Yeah, two of these screws are going to go in there. And these are the type of screws that have a really shallow head. And they're just a standard slotted screw. And it's funny, the other Compaq portable has all star screws. So they screw real easy. if you have the right screwdriver. These screws are paying the fucking ass no matter what you use to try to screw them because they're just so shallow. All right, we're going to try to start this by hand. And that is way too small for that hole. All right, do I have any bigger screws in here? They all look the same. This one looks a little different. Maybe this one? No. Oh, damn. Where did I put the screws for the power supply? Oh, that's a nut. Pretty sure that was up there. That screws the case in. Huh. Motherfucker. I don't know where I could have put those screws. I put all the parts together in the basement, and I bagged all my screws. Huh. I somehow lost my screws for this. Fucking shit. What am I going to use to hold that in? Motherfucker. I'm surprised I didn't put the screws back in the screw holes for this when I stashed it. I don't know where those screws could be. I mean, I was very careful to hold on to everything. Those are all nuts. Those are all small screws. Not to mention, I'm also missing the screws that hold the drives in place on this machine, which are also not in this bag. Shit, where are those screws? Motherfucker. I stashed some screws someplace. I have no idea where. Well, shit, I can't put this together without. Let's see. Is there a nut mod to keep tightening and loosening that nut? Not that I know of. I could go look in the basement some more, but I'm blanking on where I could have possibly even stored them in the basement because everything that is associated with this machine, when I bought it in the basement, I put into this box. And the only thing left in here is metal frame, plastic pieces, and a handle. It's not falling out of any plastic pieces here. So I'm at a fucking loss for where I could have stashed those screws. because most screws are in their screw holes. Although I'm missing a few there too, but then again, some of the small screws are in here. But the bigger screws are just completely gone. Hmm. Well, now Mars does say something that came to my mind, that I could steal screws out of the other machine, but I'm trying to keep these machines. I'm trying to sort them back out to the original. So if I start moving screws around, it's gonna drive me fucking nuts. We need Superman, is what we need. All right, we need to go on a trip into the basement. And Dune saying, no, you need Miss Cleo. All right, we're going to go take a walk into the basement. Pretty sure we don't have it here. All right, so this is the video board. That's the keyboard. That's the hard drive controller for the hard drive. That's our working floppy drive we just took out. These are a bunch of panels. No screws hiding in there. And this machine originally came from a computer land. And I don't think I'm hiding any screws in any of these brackets. And these are the motherboard and other cards that I had in the other one that I've taken out to move back into here. All right, field trip. Now I had the box over here. Now this is an ugly case with some parts in it, but I don't believe it would have screws in it. These are a bunch of other towers with various parts in them in various states. And some of the Compaq portable parts were in this box, but that's because those are parts that were in there before I completely tore it down and took all the screws out. So the screws would have never been in this box. These are screws to that antique TV. Oh, hey. It's my high school diploma. What fell out of it? Ah. Picture of me with my grandmother. And what's in this folder? Any screws? Nope. That's my college diploma, complete with a sheet of Dietrichisms. All right. Are there any screws that would be the right size here? Not down here, but I do have a kit of computer screws upstairs. I don't think it's going to have the screws to hold the hard drives in place, the hard and floppy drives in place, though, because those require long screws, which are not standard.
for any computers beyond that point. Huh. Where could those screws have ended up, though? Now, those long screws I could have taken out earlier because I was moving drives around. So I'm not even sure what state that computer was in when I brought it upstairs and completely disassembled it. That can't possibly be the screw. So I guess what I can do, let's see, are there any screws on this table? At some point I had the thing apart in this table, but that was a long time ago, many parts ago. Nothing here looks anything remotely like computer parts. One of these days I'll pick up work on that. It's just I reached a point that the next step is so complicated it makes me cry to think about it. The next step involves replacing CAN capacitors with modern CAN capacitors that require the steel to be cut bigger using a really cheap hand tool that hurts my hand, or buying a better tool. Not to mention I basically got to tear apart a bunch of wires, keep track of where they all are, and put them all back together again. Well, that ain't the right screw. I don't think that's threaded too wide. It's a narrow threaded screw. All right, well, I'm going to go grab my computer screw kit from upstairs. And I'm going to see what I can make that do for tonight. I think I can at least get the power supply into place. As far as getting the drives into place, I don't know. Maybe I could borrow a few screws from the other machine when we get to that point. Mars writes in, Dune wants me to call Best Buy, see if they have any. Yes, Geek Squad, do you have any screws for a Compaq portable? Yes, all of them. Nah, I think I can find what I need from a hardware store. I'm just kind of pissed off that the original screws are missing. All right, I know I saw that little plastic cat. Oh, here we go. Here's a little plastic caddy of various computer screws, but none of them are long. But if I take like half the screws out of the other machine, each machine will have just enough screws to hold drives in place while I go looking for other screws. All right, so we're going to let's see if we can get the power supply in. Not going to do that just yet because we're just looking at the power supply here. So let's see. Let's see if like these standard computer screws fit those threads. No, it's a bigger thread than a standard drive screw. I don't have anything bigger than that, I don't think. I mean, even these thumb screws, I think, are the same. Yeah, because they basically take the same hole. God, what the fuck? I don't understand where these screws could have gone.
see. These screws hold the plastic case on there. Those are too narrow, though. I'm stuck. All right, maybe if I take, let's see if this power supply even takes the same type of screw. Well, it does. All right. We're going to rob a screw off of here. All right, so this is what I'm looking for, and it's a screw with 2 washers, or as some would say, 2 washers, but they're not orange, so no, not colored at all, just plain silver or gray screws. All right, so we'll put that one in. And that kind of stays in place. That we could take that out, put that back in, and I don't know if I could find replacements at the hardware store or if I just need to think more about where I could have relocated screws to. I'm really at a complete loss. Unless I have a bunch of screws on this ledge here from things I've been working on, but nothing that looks like that. And I can't think of any other container I was putting parts for this machine into. All right. Point is, though, is that we've got the power supply secured adequately for this point. So now we need to run these things to their appropriate places. All right, so this powers the motherboard. So we got a bunch of wires here coming off of this power supply. And we got this connector for the motherboard, which connects somewhere around, there's an opening on the other side of here. So that wire goes there. Not sure. I think this, I got 2 different cutouts. And then this wire, I think, connects to the video. This connects to the video. These connect to the drives. And so I think these clips I want to, let's work our way backwards because these are going to go to these drives here. So snap these clips in here like that. And then that's going to put this around here. All right, and so I think that means that this rubber is going to go in here. And this rubber is going to go in here. All right, so I think that's where those rubber rings go. Let's move this. And I think we basically want to snap these 2 clips into here. And this knob's going to come up front here. But I think we need to take this nut off of here. Now, does this washer go on this side or does it stay behind? All right. And that puts our brightness control on the front here. If this damn nut would catch a damn thread. I can't help but wonder, how can you have a threaded nut and threads and align them and turn them 20 fucking times and have the fucking parts that are basically designed to just fucking catch continue to not catch for all those fucking turns? It's like, come on, man. You're just fucking with me. All right. Now, is this supposed to be turned one way or the other? Or does that fit in that way? I wonder if we should turn it to be facing in a different direction. Although it seems to not fit in another direction. All right, that must jut out that way. Is that going to get in the way of the screen? Probably not. All right, so I guess this probably snaps in here. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to snap that over or under there. I think we'll go over. All right, I think we've got this power supply wired back in. We might have another. Oh, we got another one of these to snap. Oh, there we go. There we go, and that's going to connect to the motherboard when it comes over here. I'm trying to think. There's three things that have to snap onto the motherboard over there. There's the power supply and the keyboard, and I think there's one other thing. But we'll figure that out. I think that might be something on the display. All right. So now we got our little TV display here. And this is going to somehow screw into here. And I think that's some of the screws I have in that bag. Yep, just like that. And I think I just need 2 screws here for that. I don't think these even... Does anything connect on the other side of this? Well, let's take one of our tiny screws. Now let's put that in. And of course, these tiny screws love to cross thread. So we're going to back that out. All right, this is pushing up against this here. So I really think maybe I did put that on wrong. As much as I really don't want to take that back off. And it doesn't want me to take it off. All right, let's get that nut off. I think the brightness control maybe needs to get screwed on here in a way that's less in the way. So let's see if this will, yeah, that makes much more sense. Okay. So we're gonna get this brightness control back on here, and then we're gonna get that TV into place. And then the thing is I actually desoldered a wire off of the video board from that. And I did that because originally I was trying to build everything into this case because this case doesn't have a crack in the plastic. And the second Compaq portable I picked up had a crack in the plastic. And when I went and built this one to work, the video was flipping on the vertical hold, so I couldn't use it. So I thought, well, I'll just swap the video boards rather than move everything over into the other case. And so I took the video board out, and there was a cable that attaches from over here. I can't find it now. Oh. No, there's a wire. No, that's not it either. Somewhere there's a loose black wire off of something. Here it is. There's a loose black wire coming off of this. And that was the only thing that was keeping me from lifting this board off that I thought I was going to swap into the other Compaq portable. But these boards were different enough that I couldn't fit this one in that case. So anyways, I've got to solder this wire back onto this board somewhere. And I might want to do that before I put this back in the case. So let me line this up in place and figure out how that's all going to fit together, and then we'll get the soldering iron going. These stupid rubber rings love to slide out from their slots. They have one job. They literally have one fucking job. All right, there we go. I'll have room on top of this to solder. I'm going to put a screw in, hold this in place because I don't want to move that again. All right, got that one started. All right, get another small screw here. All right. I don't know if there's something else that's going to use those screws or not, so I'm going to leave them loose for now. We'll tighten everything up as we put it back together. Let's see if there's anything on this side that needs to be secured. Yeah, we do. We do have two screws that hold that in the bottom. And I'm fairly confident we can put those in tight. All right, right, there we go. Okay. These screws don't like to get started easily. Come on. Be polite. All right, there we go. God, I fucking hate these screws. Not sure why they went from the star screws to the shallow slotted screws. But that must have been a Compaq decision because I don't think anyone would have gone to the trouble to replace every screw in here. All right, so this video board has to go somewhere. And I think this video board is where my plastic tab that's in this bag goes to. But I think the reason this plastic tab, I think I found this loose in the case because there's a nub missing from that. And you know, it's like I always said, 3 out of 4 ain't bad. Now, where did this board originally go? Now, I know that we do need to get this cap onto the back of the CRT. So I think this board actually goes inside of here. And it probably goes standing up with these controls up to the top. So you know what? This probably would have been a whole lot easier if I did this before putting this in this case. Would it have been that much easier? I don't know. But we should probably figure out where we need to solder this wire to. And I know I saw this spot earlier today when I was looking around. Oh yeah. See this hole right here. I mean that hole had something soldered to it. Up there. Because if I turn this around, you can see there's an open hole there where there's nothing, there's solder around it and there's no wire there. And that's the only thing on this board like that. So that's got to be where this wire goes. Yep, and that wire kind of snaps in there, actually, and fits pretty snugly in there. So actually, that's ready to just put a little dollop of solder on there, and then it's a matter of squeezing this back into place. And you know what? There is not a notch for a fourth plastic piece. There's actually a spot for that to screw in up here. And there's 3 tabs for the plastic notches. So, yeah, we have everything we need here except for a screw. And I don't know if that screw hole is going to accept one of our tiny ass screws. Oh, actually it does. All right. So that means we have everything we need for this. So let's get the soldering iron warmed up. And I am on my seventh or eighth soldering iron. I was going to say second, and then I realized I had a few cheap pens before that, and then I realized I had a one of those gun style ones at some point, and then I remembered I had a few when I was in high school and college. So that number just kept going up in my head before I could finish the sentence I started. The point is that it's probably a good idea to do a little research and buy a decent soldering iron when you buy a soldering iron. Mistakes I've made are buying battery-powered soldering irons. As convenient as that is, they start running out of juice really quick, and that's not fun when you're trying to melt solder. And then I bought a cheap plug-in station style one, and the plastic that hold the tips on broke real easily, trying to, hand tighten it carefully and with care. It still was more than the plastic could handle. So generally, soldering irons is one of those cases where there is good wisdom in name brand, and Weller is a well-known name brand. Now, I had a Weller gun-style soldering iron, and that thing stopped working like a year or two later. I thought it was a Weller. Doing rates in 3 out of 4 ain't bad, except for quad. Oh my God, you're absolutely true about that. If you have a channel or a speaker that's not working in quad, that is just going to drive you fucking nuts. Now, right now, I have a loose connection on my soldering iron, and it's fucking with things. So, because it's got a temperature control that's just going off the fucking map. All right. I think that's in there good. There we go. So I set that to 700. That's a good temperature to go with. Now, where did I put my solder? Oh, here we go. I might not even need to add solder to this. Just melting the solder that was already there would probably... So I'll probably just throw a little dab on there anyway, just for good measure. All right, so we got a good 700 degrees on this iron here, and that's the contact right there that we pop the wire back into. So we're going to melt the solder that's on there. Just to make sure we're not throwing new solder on top of old bad solder. We'll get this melted. We'll get this melted. The solder doesn't want to melt. All right. Let's just crank this up to 850. Fuck it. Sometimes you just need to crank it up to the max. Okay, now, as I talk about good name brands, and I bought this, finally just said, fuck it, I'm going to buy the name brand that people recommend. It's now giving me trouble. The connection's coming loose. And I'm not sure why. It snaps in. All right, there we go. All right, so that is nice and hot. All right, so we want to melt all the solder on that. Come on. Why aren't you melting? All right, there it goes. Oh yeah, it's getting soft now. So now let's put a new dab on there. It's really not melting all that much, though. Oh, there we go. We'll just leave that on there, nice and thoroughly melted. There we go. There we go. That looks good. There we go. Nice, solid, strong connection. That is on there good. And it's not touching any other pins and shorting anything out. Okay. So I need to get
need to get this this connector on the end of the CRT, which has no charge at this time. And I got this ground wire that's supposed to slide onto something, but I don't know what. And if I don't see something obvious soon, I'm going to have to start looking in the other one and see if anything jumps out there. All right, this connector. All right, these two connectors connect to this board. And that connector connects somewhere. And this connector connects somewhere, probably on this board. Where does that connect? Somewhere on the... No, that goes to the video card. And then that goes... Huh. I can't figure out where all these connectors go anymore. Anyone in the chat room know how to put together a Compaq portable? All right. Because there's two connectors on this board, and I have three connectors. And so I can't figure out, but the video card's got to go into this board somehow, because this is the video board. So there's got to be a place for video signal to come in. And then these two connectors basically send it out to the, come out and into the screen off of here. So video's coming out of both of these connectors, or video data anyways. And this is probably a ground connection. So this might even go to a nub or a notch on the chassis. I'm not 100% on that though. Oh, there are three connectors on here, except that there's still not a connector for this. So there's a connector for this and that, but I don't know what connects to this. And it ain't that. Oh, this connects here. Here we go. We got a port here. So what's that port for? Oh my God. All right, so I'm gonna have to bring the other Compaq portable on the desk to study it. Problem is that the other Compaq portable is different. Hopefully it's not different enough to be useless to study. So let's put this down for a moment. All right, we're going to take this panel off, and we're not going to touch anything because that CRT is turned on as soon as yesterday. So there might still be a charge on things underneath this panel. So I don't know, maybe I should turn on the second cam so that if I jolt myself, you all get a good view. I'm not going to do that.
All right, there we go. That panel's off. All right. So we got connector there. That connector goes to the video card. Huh. There's completely different types of connectors on this. But is there a black wire that comes off? And there's a black wire that comes off, and it looks like there's a wax connection on the end of that goes in the cap. So I don't think that's the same black wire. This is completely different. This is completely useless to me. Except that there is a black wire that goes down underneath things. Well, all right, we're going to put this panel back on and we're going to do some more studying of our other one, because this is way too different to really use as a guide. All right, we'll tighten up these screws. We'll put that back off to the side. All right, let's see if there's anything we see underneath. Well, there is a tab that comes off of here. Oh, lovely. We got a broken piece of foil. That piece of foil picked up some graphite off the tape, and now it's mostly black. So now I don't want to change programs properly. All right, so I think basically this is going to go here, and I think this wire is going to come up and connect to this metal tab that's on the CRT over here, which has definitely been discharged. I think that's where this goes. And if not, well, I think there's still some juice left in the fire extinguisher. Well, the question is, can I get that on there? And does it fit? Because if it doesn't fit, then it might be wrong. Oh, God, that's a difficult reach. And yeah, that slides right onto there. It's got to be the right spot for that. All right, let's the thing is, I still don't know. All right, this connects. This connects. Well, that's got to go behind there. Oh shit! I got another fucking. Oh, I got two of these fucking connectors. I think this one goes on there. I don't know where this one goes. This is tricky. I just don't know where these stupid clips go. But this clip is coming off of the back of the CRT. And then this clip is going somewhere else. And then I have 3 connectors on here, and I have 2 connectors here. So where's my 3rd connector from here? Or is there just an extra connector here that connects to nothing? Not to mention, I don't want to forget to connect the fan. Here's the fan connection. Okay, fan's connected. All right, so yeah, I don't know how to hook this board up. Shit. But this probably just needs to go to ground. So maybe something metal. I mean, that does fit on there, but that's just a bracket. Is that just a happy accident that fits on there? Is that going to cause problems? I mean, anything over there is going to be pretty close to stuff with high voltage. I probably don't want to be attaching metal on that, unless that is supposed to be grounded. I mean, I think it is ground. And high voltage comes off in there. That connects down here. Actually, this doesn't. Does this connect here? Yeah, that connects there. Okay. Now, can we get that on the back of there? Where's the notch? Okay. All right, that needs to go on the back of the CRT. So let's see if we can feed that back there. Come on, stupid short wires. It's going the wrong way. I want this to feed this way. There we go. Now I want to feed that over there so we can slide that on the end of the nub there. Come on. That just needs to slide onto the CRT. All right, we got that on. All right, so now we got to connect. We got to connect that wire somewhere. We got to connect that wire somewhere. Wait a minute. No, that's not the wire we resoldered. That's the wire. Oh, the wire that just came off is the wire we resoldered. Fuck! All right, turning the soldering iron back on. Okay, Sparky Toaster's in the house. They are not connectors. They are fucking connectors. IT guy is stumped. Could one just be a spare power connector? The red, black, yellow, blue one? Is there a flyback transformer in there? I thought they were located in the monitors themselves. Whatever happens, I hope this is not turned to toast when he plugs it in. OMG, this is old. Look at that old disc capacitor. Yeah, this is a Compaq portable, and I had it completely disassembled because I was using it for parts. And I've reached a point where most of my parts are good, so I'm trying. I've changed my goal from Frankensteining one machine to putting all the parts back to their original machines and fixing up each original machine. And so this is machine number 1 that I ravaged a lot of parts out for machine number 2. Machine number 2 has a dead video card at the moment, but I think I can fix that with a few cap replacements, and those are on order. And machine number 2 also has a dead floppy, but I just disconnected the cable, so it's got one good floppy that it'll use for A and B, and then I'll deal with that another time. But this machine, I've got to a point where I know the motherboard, the video card, and the floppy controller are good, but I just took it completely apart and can't remember how to put it all back together. All right, so this cable needs a good solid solder connection. Come on. All right. That should be adequate. The Kansas one is not one of these two. The Kansas one is a Compaq Portable 3. And that's a whole separate thing. And that is in working condition. It actually came out of the dumpster in working condition, but it was set to work with an external video card. And I took that video card out and changed the dip switches to work with the internal card and replaced the battery on it and replaced the keyboard cable on it. So that one's in the basement in its bag, but it does boot up and it's got some software installed on it. But that's not today's topic. So today's topic, once again, is figuring out how to turn off my soldering iron before I touch it accidentally. All right. God, such tight fits and parts that love to get caught on parts. All right. All right. Let's, come on, get out of there so I can get that other cable out of here. All right, we're going to skip this tape because the fucking splice will not cooperate. All right, let's see. So there's this connector needs to connect to this board. And that comes up here. All right, let's go ahead and start tucking this board into here. Wow, this has got to stretch far. No, it doesn't, because that's the wrong connector for that. Where does that connect? Oh, fuck. Now I connected half the things. Nothing wants to move into a convenient spot. Ugh. All right, let's see if I could see. Where's the other connector I was looking at? Oh, down here, hidden out of the way. Now, I might have to take this all apart again because the last time I had this one together, the vertical hold was not working on this. But all the capacitors look good. And there is a vertical adjustment on here, so I'm going to try to adjust that when we have it back together. If I can figure out how to get it all back together. All right, so that's connected onto there. So I have no idea what connects to this port, but it's close to the top. And I have no idea where these black cables connect to. No idea whatsoever. Yeah, Sparky, it was an 8-track thump. I got the 5-tape changer on. All right. Oh, yeah, I brought this up for a flashlight, not to check email. All right, so let's see. This is labeled J04? What's J? Jumper? J104 maybe? Or is it just J04? All right, so I think this is labeled a jumper on this board, but I don't have a schematic for this. So I have no idea where these two connectors are supposed to connect to, or if they definitely are ground because they're labeled colored black. So, oof, I do not know where to put those. And there's just no obvious point. Now, the closest I can come up with is I'm pretty sure this connects over here. Because this goes to the same place that, because this is closer to similar cables, so location speaking, it would make sense that this would go over here somewhere. And there is a tab for a wire to connect over here. So I think this connects to that tab coming off the back of the CRT. And I don't know where the flyback transformer is actually on this. That's a good question. Maybe it's this thing back here. But wherever it is, it's not powered right now. All right, so I think that slides on there. Although that's a little loose. No, that does not. These are both the same size. No, well, that tab definitely holds something, and those are both the same size. So just because it's loose doesn't mean it doesn't go there. So let's just put that one back on there for now. If anything, it's connected to something. Now the question is where to connect this to. And I still don't see any obvious place. Now, I mean, the ends of that look like they can take a cable, but that also looks like it's just there to hold the CRT or hold the things on the CRT. So I don't think that's meant to take a cable. And I didn't see any equivalent to these on the other Compaq portable because they have such different video boards. It's funny how they're the same on the outside, but the two of them are very different on the inside. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess we could leave that loose for now and see what we get. I mean, if it's ground, we just connect it to metal somewhere, and that should be good enough to get things going. And I still don't. Oh, wait. Does this cable connect to? This cable might connect to that board. Yeah, because of course we have to have the power supply connected to this. So that's what that other connector is. All right, so we need to feed that through that hole underneath. That is conveniently inaccessible. Motherfucker! You son of a fucking motherfucker! Fuck. All right, I think you go in that hole, right? Of course, I put a hole in here that is just about the wrong size for this connector. All right, let's see if we can take this board out of here again and get it out of the way enough that we can reach a hand down there and pull that power connector through. Basically, yeah, that's the cable we were missing. Or is there a better place for it to come through? No, it comes underneath that cage. So it's got to come up through that hole. Come on. Really, you couldn't make that circle just a little bigger to make this a little easier? Maybe if they had bigger napkins at that pie place. Come on, get in there. I really don't want to take this thing all the way apart again just because this stupid thing doesn't want to fit through this hole easily. Come on. Motherfucker. How do you fucking get in there? It's your home. Ah, got it. Fuck you. There we go. Now, to figure out where that goes on the board. Okay, so that goes right up here. All right, so now we're going to move the plastic tabs into place and mount this board back in the side of here. Okay, like that. There we go. And then a screw would hold that in place. But I'm not going to screw that yet because I still don't know. Well, fuck, I still don't know where the fuck this thing goes. But it would have to go somewhere within range of this wire. So it's got to go onto something in this cage. Unless it comes through a hole, and I don't think it connects to the motherboard because I've taken the motherboards out and back into these things without disconnecting something like this. Same with the video card, so it wouldn't go onto that. So no, I don't know where in the hell this thing goes. Unless there's another tab around the back of this somewhere that I'm not seeing. Is there another tab on this? I can't for the life of me figure out where this connects. Unless it connects to this that happens to be the right size, but seems to be more of a clamp for this than a connector. But it does fit on there. That doesn't necessarily look wrong. Well, that could make some interesting smoke. And where's the other end of that black wire go? Yeah, that's the thing I don't know. That's the thing I really don't know. For now, I think it goes on this tab on here. There's a tab there that fits it. But I have two black wires with tabs like that. One goes over here, and I think one goes here. And if I'm wrong, oh, the other end, so on the board here. Actually, it's this wire here. And I don't have a schematic for this board, so I can't really tell you much about the source of this, except that it's labeled J04, which I think J is for jumper because things are labeled C for capacitor, and they're numbered on here. The problem with trying to find Compaq portable schematics is the models changed over the years. So even if I dig up a schematic, it might not be the right schematic for this particular board. I'd have to spend some time doing some research to get some real schematics, which I might have to do because our best case scenario tonight might be having a bad vertical hold once we turn this on. Because the last time I had this working, there was a bad vertical hold. But one of these knobs adjusts that. I'm hoping that I could just turn that and get that to lock in. Although I expect I should have tried that last time, and maybe I didn't and just was in a rush. Anyways, it's back together, and it might even be back together correctly. Would there not be an 04 on the other end? No, I don't. I think that's schematic labeling. I don't think that's... There's no labelings on any of these. Not that I saw, anyways. Anyways, I'm going to suggest that that might be good. And I'll just stand back when we turn things on. All right, so where are we? Are we ready to put a motherboard in this thing? Holy fuck, we might be. We might be at the point that we're ready to put a motherboard in. So motherboards come on these cases that slide in with these plastic knobs that line up. I'm holding this up to my camera that's not displaying. 8 minutes till Dune goes live. Will this be done by then? No, but you might want to keep up the video of this while listening to the tunes of Dune, just in case smoke comes out. You know, you can always catch the replay well, you can always catch the replay of this if there is smoke. I'll be talking about it tomorrow if there's smoke, anyways. So here's the motherboard. And we got to take some screws out of here. And I'm actually light on a few screws, so I'm going to have to find... I need to go to the hardware store and buy screws, because I lost a bunch of screws to this case, and I don't know how I did that, because I thought I was careful to keep track of all my screws. I thought wrong. Apparently, I was very careless with my screws, because I can't find them now, and they're not all in the case. And I don't know how I managed to do that. Anyways, for now, we'll get things put together well enough. What is going on there with that? All right, where does this belong? Because this don't belong here. Shit. Oh, that does go here. Yeah, that is the connector for the PC speaker. So that also goes back in this area. Where does this clip go, though? This clip needs to clip in somewhere. We'll just clip it into here for now. That'll be adequate. All right, now we should be able to slide this in and gather what screws we have to screw this into place. Why is this in the way? Probably because I clipped that in the wrong place, probably. I don't know. Actually, that might fit. Let's see. Come on. All right. Lining these plastic parts up is a pain in the ass sometimes. Oh, come on. All right, there we go. There we go. Motherboard is lined up. And that screw, the metal is not meeting up nicely here. Pretty sure this is the original motherboard that was in this case. All right, there we go. There we go. We'll put that screw in there. That kind of gets our metal casing tight together and flush and nice. And there needs to be another 3 screws for that. Do I have 3 screws in my baggie? I have 1, 2, and I know one of them goes to that video board. All right, so let's put this screw in the end here, and that'll be adequate for now. I'll have to see if I could dig up identical screws to match this somewhere. Actually, these screws suck so bad, I wouldn't be all that disappointed if I didn't have all original screws on this one. And after all, this Compaq portable isn't all original because it has a it came. I found it with a 10 meg hard drive in it, which, as I understand it, Compaq Pluses came with hard drives. Compaq Portables came with 2 floppies. I don't know if there was never a stock with hard drive, but I don't think it's a stock hard drive in here anyways. All right, there we go. These screws are the worst. All right, motherboard's in. So we connect the PC speaker, and there's also a connector here for the keyboard. Now, the keyboard for this one is actually in the other Compaq portable. So I'm going to have to take it out of there if I want to put it on here. But let's find out if we could even turn this thing on before we start putting all those parts back together. So let's see. We got our power supply connected. We got our motherboard in. We need to put the drives in. We want to put the floppy drive in the first spot. Of course, I don't have screws for these, so that's annoying. So let's just rest this in the chassis in the right spot for now. And we'll worry about screws later. All right, we'll take these connectors off this controller card. We'll worry about that later. All right. Which way does this... I think we want to do that like this. That's what we want to do. All right. This is going to go on here. And I'm not sure where this connects onto. Shit. Is there a spot on the floppy drive for another connector? Take a look. I don't see a spot on this drive for that connector. Why do they keep giving me connectors that go to nothing? I don't think that connector's needed for anything. I think that's an optional connector. It's probably some kind of ground connector of some sort. Well, it's probably to ground the metal on this drive, which is touching the metal of the case, which is grounded. So I'm not even sure there's any reason we even need this connector. And I don't see a spot in this drive that will accept it. Oh, here. Here it is. That'll fit right there. Okay. Although they don't give me one for both drives. So I don't know what the point of that is. I'm sure there's some reason why you want to ground one of your drives and you only need to ground one of them. But I don't know what that is. Of course, now these wires are too short to let me get the drive back into position. But at least now I know where that connector is. All right. So we're going to line this up over here. And then when we have screws, we'll be able to line those up more precisely and screw them in.
And I might even, oh fuck, the stupid metal tab is not in the right place. There we go. Now we can actually see what we're doing. All right, so that'll line up there like that. And we'll get screws in place when we have screws. And this goes on there. There we go. Over engineering. I think back in the day, they grounded stuff that did not really need ground. Probably. Well, you can't be too safe. I mean, if you give anyone any possible way to sign into their accounts, then they could be compromised. So you have to completely over-engineer to make sure no one will ever get any work done ever again. All right, this drive's going to go in here. And we're basically going to rest these parts, connect things, and see if we could get anything to boot up on the screen. And then we reach the point where I need more screws. And I'll probably go to Home Depot tomorrow and get screws. All right, here's our floppy cable. So we're going to put on past the twisted pair onto here. Oh, we need a power cable connected to this hard drive. And there's a connector somewhere difficult to reach down here. There we go. Yeah, I'll go to Lowe's tomorrow with a few screws from the other Compaq portable and see if I can find things that are just identical thread and size of those. And that'll be our little secret. All right, so now floppy controller. That's this one. That slides right in here. Nice tight fit behind these floppy drives with cables getting in the way, because of course they do, because this was horribly designed with almost not enough space for drive cables. And my power supply cables keep dropping down in the fucking way. Tried to put a hole in my shirt. I like this shirt. Fuck you. Thank God. This is a really tight fit. It does not want to go down there easily. I mean, to the point that it's squeezing out the side. Here we go. It is such a tight fit that if it goes down one end a little more, that angle really throws it off.
Oh, motherfucker. I left the screw in the screw hole. Now I got to pull it out and take the screw out. All right, there we go. All right, heading over the dunes. So you plug this all in, smoke or no smoke? That is the question. That is the question. I expect to get a picture on the tube, but I wouldn't be surprised if I don't, since I don't know if all the wires are in the right spots. But from what I recall, I should be able to get the motherboard to power on without anything shorting out. So that'll be interesting. And I had this motherboard booting up with this video card previously. All right. Floppy controller is in. Doesn't look like it's in there very snug though. All right, that is. All right, video card. And this here is kind of like the absolute minimum that we need. We could turn this on with these two cards and see if we can boot to a floppy. Although we really need to connect the floppy cable to the controller. All right. So, of course, our plastic brackets on the back there that hold these cards in are damaged, and we need to come up with a solution for that. But for now, these cards will float in adequately. I do need to get this connector connected to the card. And it's easier to do that before putting it into the slot. All right, so and we don't have a screw for that right now. All right, so that will give us enough to try and boot to a floppy. This hard drive is bootable and has DOS installed on it. Some version of DOS, Compaq DOS 2, I believe. That is appropriate for this era machine. But before we put that controller card in, let's turn this on and see if we can boot to a floppy. All right, so we got a power cable here. We've got that turned off. Now, I want to be very careful to not touch anything high voltage after I do this, because we're going to charge the high voltage, the CRT. Okay. So let's, before we flip the power switch, let's adjust our camera. Got a red light. We got a PC beep. We got a floppy. We've got no picture on the tube, though. So I did have a picture on this tube at one point in time. So I don't know why we're not getting a picture on this tube at this point. So something's just not connected right. And now I got cables in places that I don't want to touch. All right, so I believe we may be booted to something. So we don't have a display. Yeah, no high voltage. So maybe one of those black connectors needs to go someplace. So I'm going to turn this off, disconnect the power cord, and let that sit overnight. And then I'm going to get a screwdriver and a wire, and I'm going to have to do the discharge trick. I could do that right now. I don't feel like doing that right now. And, you know, we may as well let it sit and discharge before I do the other discharge trick. I have seen people do that and then get shocked through the screwdriver, which is not as bad as getting shocked from the CRT. It's more of a, ow, that shocked me. But I'd rather not. So, yeah, we'll let that sit overnight. And I think I'm going to have to look for pictures or reach out to forums for help for pictures. I could do a little more looking at my other Compaq portable, because even though it's a completely different board, there's got to be black wires going to things on there. The CRT does have a thick black cable with the suction cup thing, and that is connected, and that's doing the right thing. I mean, it's not doing the right thing because it's not providing high voltage, but that is connected to the CRT. Actually, the CRT didn't come up, so there should be no high voltage for me to worry about. It's probably as discharged as it's been, because I'm not going to chance it and start touching things, though. So, yeah, I got something wrong on that board. I got something wrong on there. And it may just be that one of those, it might be that those black wires are in the wrong place. Heck, I might even need to swap them. But I'm not sure. I need to, but anyways, if I could get that sorted out and get some extra screws, I can get this thing together, and I could take the keyboard back from the other machine, and I could have this up and running again. Yeah, at high voltage, there'd be something showing on it, like a flat line or a dot, I think is another one you might see. But Yeah, no, nothing. So I think it's still discharged. So I don't know. I might want to take the board back out, check my connectors are connected the right order, the right way. I don't think they fit on the wrong way, but um, I'm feeling a little, thirsty. I'd like to wet my whistle. So I think I've done enough tinkering for tonight that I'm going to go relax a bit, maybe check out the 5-hit. So thank you all for joining me tonight. And yeah, we'll keep working on this. Like I said, I got to buy some screws so I can get these things properly secured. That'll make things a little nicer here. And I can start putting the case back on it. Oh, thank you, Dallas Texan. Thank you for stopping by. All right. Good night, everyone. And we'll see you tomorrow on the Dune and Johnny show, where you can check out the new Johnny socks. Not to be confused with the old Johnny socks. No one wants to see those. Anyways, good night.